Yo, what up, guys? Another YouTube video. In this one, we are talking about 3 skinny fat mistakes and how to fix them now. Also, are you guys making these mistakes? Let's go ahead and find out. We'll go through them in this video. I got them right here. But before that, let's just get into a few things. A little bit of background, a little bit of proof about me. I used to be super skinny myself. Even for a second, I was skinny fat, and it was something I really struggled with. And I think I wasted months and even maybe years making some of these same mistakes that you guys might be making in this video as well too. I've transformed my physique, and I've gone from skinny fat to actually putting on some size, and I've actually gone from fat to skinny as well too, and fat from fat to shredded as well too. Sorry, that's what I'm trying to say. I've been doing this for 15 years now, completely natty, been a drug-free lifter this entire time. I've also been researching this topic for over a decade now, so I've got a decade's worth of research in this, everything from training, nutrition, optimization, recovery, proper form, etc., everything in between. These methods that we're going to go over in this video are proven for building lean muscle, that way you can ditch the flab. In this video, we're going to go over 3 common skinny fat mistakes that you guys might be making, that way you can stop looking soft, start building a lean muscular physique, get you guys some real definition, some real strength, and undeniable confidence in the process as well too. The plan for the video is basically to go over some crucial errors that are probably keeping you skinny fat, give you some actionable fixes you can take, and show you a direct path to a hard aesthetic body. No homo. So a couple of pain points here. Maybe you guys are working out, but you still feel soft in the middle. That's probably the truth for a lot of you guys. Maybe you are gaining weight, but you just look flabbier. That's an issue too. Maybe you're confused about how to lose weight and gain muscle simultaneously. Maybe you're tired of feeling self-conscious about your physique. So if any of those things sound like you guys, sounds like things that you guys might be struggling with, I want you guys to imagine what it'd feel like to look in the mirror, see actual abs and solid muscle. Imagine what it'd feel like to feel tight, strong, and athletic, for your clothes to fit perfectly. That way you look good in no matter whatever clothes you're wearing. That way you can actually showcase your progress. And just imagine doing all of this completely natural and having a lean and powerful physique and body as well too. So if any of that kind of stuff sounds cool to you guys, I'll put a link in the description below with more information just like it for you guys to check that out. Feel free to check that out below, link in the description. So let's go over a few of these mistakes here. I'm going to minimize them real quick so you guys can see kind of an overview of what we're going to discuss. If you guys are just listening and you're not really watching the video, that's okay too. I'll kind of go over it in a way that you can just listen if you're just going to plan on listening. So, mistake number 1, training like a bodybuilder. Mistake number 2, the dirty bulk. And mistake number 3, the lack of consistent progressive overload. So, let's go over number 1. A lot of you guys who are skinny fat, maybe you guys are young, natural, skinny guys trying to build drug-free muscle. A lot of you guys probably focus on bicep curls and tricep push-downs. Maybe this is all you do. A lot of people struggle with this. They go into the gym, they don't know what exercises to do, so they just see something they saw on Instagram, see something they saw on YouTube, and they just copy that, and they just do that all day. Myself personally, back in the day, like when I was in high school and I first started to lift, I remember going to my weight training classes, and I would skip everything the coach was trying to tell me, everything my gym teacher was trying to tell me, and I would just sit there in the corner of the gym just doing curls, because I thought that's what it took to look big. So I would sit there and I would do curls for like an hour straight. And I'll tell you, I didn't really get results, and all that really did was put strain on my biceps to the point where I was starting to get hurt. If you are doing just bicep curls and tricep pushdowns, there's a good chance that you are not doing any big compound lifts. So these are typically anything that include a barbell. So these are things like your bench press, your squat, your deadlift, your overhead press, your rows if you're working out your back, that type of thing. All of these lifts, especially for like young natural lifters who are trying to build drug-free muscle, like these are going to be your bread and butter for actually putting on size if you are trying to put on gains as a natty. I always tell all my clients, I tell everyone I work with to focus on big compound lifts first because they're going to bring the most bang for your buck. Now, another issue is that a lot of you guys, when you go into the gym, your workouts are too low intensity and you have too many sets that are just focused on getting a pump. Like getting a pump is nice, it's cool, like you get blood flow into the muscle and it looks nice for when you take pictures and stuff, but if you're not challenging yourself enough to grow, you're not going to grow. So in other words, yeah, you'll get a pump, you'll look good for the photo in the mirror, but you're never going to get bigger than the way you look in the mirror unless your workouts are high enough intensity to the point that you're actually challenging your muscles. So what are some things that we can do to fix a couple of these things that I mentioned? For one, stop wasting so much time on small muscles like biceps, calves, triceps. It's okay to focus on those and dedicate time towards those muscles, but there's no reason at all that they should be your entire workout. Not stimulating overall growth. So overall growth is how I mentioned earlier that if you guys are skipping compound movements, you guys need to actually incorporate those rather than skip them on your workouts. So, pretty much every time you go work out as a natty lifter, you should be hitting at least one or two, even more if you can, compound lifts. So like I mentioned earlier, your bench press, your OHP for your shoulders, your rows for your back, deadlift for your glutes and your hamstrings, squats for your quads, etc., etc. A personal story for myself, like I kind of mentioned earlier, I spent a lot of time doing just endless curls, and I didn't really see any change. I remember one time I was playing basketball, and I went up to the gym to go work out. I did so many curls for the entire time I was up there that I woke up the next morning, and I literally could not move my arms at all. So the whole day at school, I carried my backpack kind of like in a curl position because I couldn't stretch my arms back out, and I was literally stuck like that for the entire day. And that's not really beneficial to your gains. So focus on things that'll give you the most bang for your buck. Like I mentioned earlier, focus on your compound lifts, get those out of the way. And then if you want to work on your small muscles, you can perfectly add those in towards the middle or the end of your workout. Mistake number 2, the dirty bulk, aka getting fat to get big. A lot of you guys that are out there who are watching this video, if you're skinny fat, there's a good chance you're probably eating excessive junk food for calories, which can lead to rapid uncontrolled weight gain, and you're probably also ignoring nutrient quality. So eating excessive junk food, you're packing in all these chips, your Oreos, your soda, whatever it may be. If you're just trying to get big and you're not really counting your calories and you're just eating whatever you can, no matter how healthy or how unhealthy it is for you, there's a good chance you're just filling your calories with junk, with crap food, and it's going to lead to, like I said here, rapid uncontrolled weight gain. If you're not properly tracking your calories, you're never going to know how much you're actually eating, which in turn is just going to lead to you getting fat. The other thing is ignoring nutrient quality. If you're just eating whatever foods you can find and you're not focusing on how nutritious they are for you, there's a good chance you might just be picking out foods that are way too bad for you. They're way too high calorie. They're filled with processed junk, processed sugars. Everything you're eating is processed. It's definitely going to lead to you getting fat because a lot of that stuff, a lot of that crap is super high in calorie. And if you're not tracking it and you're just bulking to get big, you're just eating whatever you see, you're going to get fat and you're going to get fat fast. So what you should be doing instead in order to fix a few of these things is make sure you're tracking your calories. And this is wrong. Says gain 2 to 3 pounds per week. Ideally, you don't want to be gaining more than a pound per week if you're trying to put on size. Anything over that and you're probably putting on too many calories, too much fat, too fast. A pound, anything between a pound, about half a pound to a pound a week is perfectly normal, and that's what you should be aiming for. Stop consuming such highly processed foods. That's the other thing. And that way you can stop accumulating more fat than you do muscle. And again, remember, you should aim for about half a pound to a pound of weight gain per week if you are trying to bulk and put on size. So real quick, my worst bulks that I did in the past, they would make me fat rather than actually stronger, or actually muscular rather, sorry. Let me pull up a photo of what I actually used to look like. One of my worst bulks that I did was I was bulking and I was not careful at all, and I wasn't counting calories, I wasn't tracking my calories, I was just eating, trying to eat as much food as I can, and this was the result. As you can see here, it's pretty sexy. A lot of women like this, but personally, my wife was not a fan, and I definitely had to lose weight. So it wasn't for, a couple months of like hard work after that I was able to get back into like a decent size shape. Like I'm still a little bit big here, as you can see, but I kept my muscle, I retained all my muscle, and I still managed to stay like a decent size. From then, I went on to get into a little bit better shape, lost a little bit of weight, got a little bit more lean. So nowadays, I've leaned out a little bit more, and I'm trying to get a little bit leaner while also putting a little bit more size. So you can see I look much better here. But let's just get back right into it. That's mistake number 2. Let's go over mistake number 3, which is the lack of consistent progressive overload. So progressive overload is basically when you're not tracking your workout progress, as I mentioned here. You're basically using the same weights, the same reps every time you work out, and you're failing to challenge muscles beyond comfort. So real quick, for those of you who don't know, I'll explain what progressive overload is. Basically, each time you go to the gym, you do a session, you do a workout session. The next time you go, you want to basically either get strong, you want to get stronger in between workouts. That's basically progressive overload. So I'll give you a quick example of what that looks like. Say you typically do your bicep curls with a 20-pound dumbbell in both arms, right? That's great. Typically you can do 20 pounds for 10 reps, like that's your regular set. Let's say you do that on Tuesday, and then next Tuesday comes around and you're doing more bicep curls. Instead of trying to do 20 pounds for 10 reps again, you basically want to either increase the weight or increase the reps, or both if you can. So instead of doing 20 pounds for 10 reps, try to do 20 pounds for 11 reps. If you can't do 11 reps, maybe you can do 22.5 pounds instead of 20 pounds for 10 reps. So either try to increase the weight or increase the reps, and you'll be perfectly implementing progressive overload. So some other things you can do is stop going through the motions. Basically, whenever you go to the gym, make sure you're working out hard enough that you're actually challenging yourself. Do your best to try and track your progress. That way you can implement progressive overload. So try to remember what you did last week and try to be stronger than next week. And remember, like I said, either try to increase the reps or increase the weight. Myself, personally, I used to just go to the gym and I would just do whatever I felt like. I would just go there, work out, wouldn't track anything. I would get a pump in, and I was not progressing at all. Like, I was maintaining my strength. I was maintaining my physique for sure. Like, I looked good, but I wasn't getting any stronger and I wasn't putting on any exercise. So once I finally started tracking my lifts, and I started to actually implement progressive overload by making sure I was getting stronger, or at least trying to get stronger each time I went to the gym, that's when I started to see some actually good results. I would notice myself looking bigger in the mirror. The number on the scale started to grow up, or not grow up, to go up actually, and that's when I finally started to see results. Similar story, I've had clients in the past who have just gone from adding 2.5 pounds to their lifts, and it lead to tremendous results. For me, once I was plateauing on my bench press one time, I could not put up any more weight, and rather than trying to add like a 5-pound plate or a 10-pound plate to each side of the bench press, that was way too heavy for me. I couldn't do it. What I would do instead is I was adding those little 2.5-pound plates each week to the bar. So I'd add those on both sides, and that's basically adding 5 pounds, and I would progress that way. And although it was a little bit slower, I was making progress and I was getting stronger. Eventually I got to the point where I was getting up to like a 275 bench press for reps, and it just takes a little bit of time, takes a little bit of work. But if you want to get stronger, if you want to see results, if you want to grow muscle, you need to implement progressive overload. So those are the 3 things we went over. It's a lot of information probably. Just remember, if you're making these 3 skinny fat mistakes, you can fix them by avoiding these things. Stop training like a bodybuilder, too much isolation work. Stop trying to dirty bulk, aka just eating whatever you see. Actually focus on tracking your calories and make sure you're in a proper caloric surplus to the point that you're not putting on too much fat. And then also don't forget to implement progressive overload each time you go to the gym. So focus on getting stronger or being able to do more weights. So, yep, that's about it. If you guys are looking for more information, say you're skinny fat, or maybe you're a young skinny guy trying to put on like actual drug-free muscle, this is something I teach. I have a complete A to Z program that teaches everything you could possibly need to start putting on real size, real muscle, completely drug-free. And the program is literally designed for guys who are pretty much under 30, younger guys who are still skinny and they're struggling to see any size or any real muscle built. So if that sounds like you are definitely my target demographic. This program is literally created for you. At the very least, you should check it out completely free. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check that out. If not, peace out, guys. Tune in for the next video, and I'll see you guys then.